So far, we have seen how God established covenants with people who pleased Him: Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, only for their descendants to choose to turn away from the covenants and continue living in disobedience just like Adam and Eve had done. We have seen how God remained committed to save man from death and offered to make a final covenant with him by sending a Messiah, his only begotten Son, Jesus, to come and die in his place once and for all. The Messiah would crush the serpent's head and rescue human beings from the curse of sin and death that Adam and Eve's disobedience had brought into the world at the Garden of Eden. When Jesus saddled a donkey and rode into Jerusalem one bright Palm Sunday, those who had seen or heard the many miracles he had performed got really excited and immediately saw it as the coronation ceremony of their promised death-defeating Messiah. They came out to receive him, waving palm branches and singing from Psalm 118, "Hosanna! Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel." And he was indeed the King of Israel, but a different kind of king, who knew that the only way to defeat death was by first dying. Unlike other kings, he would not kill or overthrow any human government. As they expected, he would instead die. Huh? How now? Today is Holy Monday, the day after Palm Sunday, when we remember how Jesus came into Jerusalem's temple with a homemade whip in his hand. The temple was supposed to be a place where people from all over the world could come and offer sacrifices and receive forgiveness from God. But the religious leaders had decided that the temple should also double up as a livestock market to sell the animals to be sacrificed to God at the temple by those seeking forgiveness of their sins. And because they controlled the temple, they demanded that animals to be sacrificed be bought at the temple market at prices that they themselves determined and which were way more expensive than the normal price. That way, they were able to make very high profits for themselves and become very rich. The worst part, however, was that people could no longer use the space that was now being used to sell animals, and instead of prayers in languages from around the world being heard all over the temple was filled with braying of animals. Meh, meh, moo. The haggling of vendors, 10 more, 20, 30, and the stench of manure. The worship of the nations was sacrificed so that religious leaders could become rich. Jesus entered the temple and began to drive out all the people buying and selling animals for sacrifice. He knocked over the tables of the money changers and the chairs of those selling doves. He said to them, "The scriptures declare, my temple will be called a house of prayer, but you have turned it into a den of thieves." The religious leaders, having been exposed and cornered, plotted to kill Jesus.